Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to look at an element of the race that we might look back on later as having been a path to finding the winner. Well, Sunday racing at Sha Tin this week, and the first race we're going to look at is race 8. The winning factor here, up in class, off a win. Now I think one of the major players here is going to be Lakeshore Eagle. And he has similar form lines around horses like Mr. Alden and Super Elegance, who also look chances, while down the bottom of the weights, Joe Moreira stays aboard Ricky Yu trained Cheerful Leader as he rises into Class 3. Now, a number of these horses ran in the same Class 3 race, a similar event over 1,600 metres recently. That was race 444, and we're going to take a look at that now. And I want to point out of special note is the heat map here. Now we have a very fast pace in the early stages. The first 800 metres of the race, almost 7 lengths faster than average. And who's that out in front? Well, that's apprentice Alfie Chan on Earth Trilogy, who folds up in the straight and finishes back in the field, but he'll be important on Sunday, while the finishers swoop home with the winner and Super Elegance both coming from near the tail of the field. Now, a week earlier than that, in race 419, we see Cheerful Leader winning in Class 4. And once again, take note at the heat map at the bottom of the screen. A little better than average pace in the early stages of this. Not quite as brutal as the one we just saw, but certainly a solid pace. And Cheerful Leader was up on that speed, up handy to the leaders, and he kicks away in the straight and goes on to win with some authority over a horse who won his next start, Everlaugh. Now, crucial to the race here is the map. And as I pointed out earlier, we saw Earth Trilogy leading at a very strong pace in the race won by Mr. Alden. And Earth Trilogy is here once again on Sunday. Now, I'm hoping that his apprentice rider, Alfie Chan, learned a little bit from that suicidal ride on the horse last time. He doesn't have much opposition here for the front, and I'm thinking that perhaps he won't go quite as fast this time and will try to control the pace. That will allow Cheerful Leader to sit on his back and not have to do as much as he did early in the Class 4 last start. Meanwhile, the other chances, most of them don't have an awful lot of early pace, and even those that do will be conceding a start to Cheerful Leader. So the tip in race 8, Cheerful Leader. His winning factor, up in class, off a win. Now, regulars will know that I really like this angle in Hong Kong racing. Horses rising in grade have a terrific winning strike rate, and those coming off a win in the lower grade have an even better strike rate. So Cheerful Leader appeals along those lines, and it looks to map out beautifully for him. The second race we're going to take a look at on Sunday is race 9, and the winning factor here, the tempo. Now, this is one of the more interesting races of the day, a Class 2 race that we nicknamed the Collection Stakes. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But it's a good quality event where I think the chances that stand out are Beauty Legacy, and he's the one for us from the John Size stable, reliable team for Frankie Law, and Winning Delight, trying to make a late Derby bid for Casper Founds. And that last point I mentioned there is why we've nicknamed this race the Collection Stakes for many years. It goes back to 2009 when John Moore's leading Derby contender, Collection, didn't actually have a lead-up race to the Derby available to him. And John Moore pleaded with the Jockey Club to tweak the conditions of this particular Class 2 race. They did so. Collection was able to run, win easily, and go on to win the Derby. And ever since, it has been a key lead-up race for the Derby, particularly for horses in the late bid stage of their campaign. In many cases, this is a race where it's the final pitch for horses to make the Derby field, and I think that's where we see Winning Delight on Sunday. But it's also been a race to set horses up well going towards the Derby to run well in that contest. Like Collection, Akeed Mafeed went on to win the big one. Last year we saw Waikuku win this race, and he was an unlucky second in the Derby. And the others have had various levels of success, with only 2 of them, Sapelli and Happy Guy, older horses who were ineligible for the Derby, and they just did their job spoiling a few dreams. What also stands out from that graphic, I'm sure everyone noticed, how often this race is won by John Moore or John Size. And between them, they have 6 of the runners in Sunday's race this year. And I want to take a look at a couple of the relevant videos here, and by far the most interesting is race 441. This is Beauty Legacy and Reliable Team running in the Classic Cup. Now, Reliable Team, you see him in the green and yellow colours up near the lead. He had his chance and simply wasn't good enough. But Beauty Legacy back in the field in the Beauty Generation colours. He did himself no favours. He fought Joe Moreira a lot of the way, and then that was ruining his chances even before the straight, where he had a lot of traffic problems over on the inside. So we really didn't get to see the best of him. So regarding those 2 horses, I'm sure John Size will be hoping for better manners here from Beauty Legacy to try and get him to be more effective at the 1800 metres, while Reliable Team, well beaten there, but he is a horse who's going to be better suited on Sunday coming back to handicap conditions. Now I also want to show you race 450, and this is the latest run from Winning Delight. This was his first time going beyond a mile up to a staying distance at Happy Valley, 2200 metres, and he got a great ground saving ride from Matthew Chadwick here. He's in red colours on the inside, but you'll see in the straight he's held up. Then when he gets to the front, he comes away and wins with something in hand. So he's certainly value for better than this Class 3 win. So those horses all heading towards the Derby, or hoping to head towards the Derby. But I think there's also a John Size spoiler in the race. And we're going to look at him on the map, because he's the one for us, has been racing consistently this season. He's very fit. He's an older horse, so he's not Derby eligible. But I do think that the way this plays out, this race, is going to be a problem for a few of the Derby horses, and very suitable for he's the one for us. I think he could get across and get the lead by himself. It's his first attempt at 1800 metres, but it may not be a real stamina contest. And he and Reliable Team, they'll be in the leading group without a whole lot of pace on, while many of these are going to get back, particularly horses like Beauty Legacy and Winning Delight, who are going to give away good starts. So the tip in race 9, he's the one for us. His winning factor, the tempo. He's going into unknown territory at 1800 metres, but he's very genuine. He's very tactically suited to this race with the tempo the way it is. And I think he could be out there spoiling a few Derby dreams on Sunday. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck at Sha Tin on Sunday. We'll see you next time.